from Los Angeles.
Coming up on NBA Today, we got takeaways from last night's Mile High Thriller. Who did we learn more about, the Nuggets or the Rockets? And yes, you'll also hear from Ime Udoka after the spicy showdown. Plus, Cooper Flagg, his first 40-point game. So what he did last night that put him in the same company as LeBron, Melo, KD, and Anthony Edwards. Also, my exclusive conversation with Victor Wembanyama, how he's readying his Spurs for the Cup championship. Find out next. NBA Today starts right now. Hey, the Eastern Conference hopeful and a rising giant in the West. It all goes down tonight for a chance at winning the third ever NBA Cup. And yesterday, Wemby and Jalen Brunson, they spoke about what's at stake for their respective teams. Take a listen.
It's a high-stakes game that both teams are going to be very invested in winning. So it just shows that, you know, we are preparing and we will pass the next step for more significant games in the playoffs. But as competitors, this is the complicated explanation, but it's simple as that. As competitors, we want to win every game, and this one brings something new on the table, so we want to win it even more.
You're going out there competing, you know, you're playing for more than just yourself. You're playing for your team, your organization, and your city. There's a lot at stake besides the record. So you go out there and compete no matter what.
Timmy Goodtime's taking a break from the Blackjacks table to come and spend a little bit of time with us here on NBA Today. Hey, Tim, this is a huge game that we get to see tonight between the San Antonio Spurs and the New York Knicks. What are the Knicks saying about their mindset ahead of this ethical cup matchup here?
Well, Malika, for the Knicks, they have not raised any sort of championship banner to the rafters at Madison Square Garden since 1973, when they won the second of their two NBA championships. So, yes, this is not the Larry O'Brien trophy, but for the Knicks, this is a chance to do something they haven't done in more than 50 years. And it is something that they hope will be a springboard for them to have postseason success, like obviously the Oklahoma City Thunder did last year when they got to the Cup championship game, went on to win the NBA title, and the Indiana Pacers did the year before when they came out of nowhere after making the Cup finals, made the conference finals 2 years ago, and then obviously beat the Knicks in the conference finals last year to go on to the league's championship round. And for the Knicks to do that, Malika, obviously you just referenced Victor Wembanyama earlier. One thing Jalen Brunson talked about yesterday, the Knicks have to get Victor Wembanyama away from the paint. It's obviously a real challenge to do that. In the minutes Victor's out there, we'll see how many he's able to play today. Expect the Knicks to try to keep the ball movement they had in Saturday's win over Orlando when they had a great showing against one of the best defensive teams in the league. Try to get Victor moving around, maybe take away some of his energy and get him away from the paint. Get Jalen Brunson a chance to get another 40 points like he did in Saturday's win.
Absolutely. It's easier said than done, keeping Victor Wembanyama out of the paint. Tim, thank you very much. I'll see you in a couple of hours at tonight's game in Vegas. But as Tim alluded to, it has been a while since the Knicks have won an NBA championship. The last one, it was 52 years ago. It was back in 1973. Remember, they got to the finals twice, though, since then. They lost to the Rockets in 1994, and then they lost to the Spurs in 1999. So once again, the Spurs stand in their way of something significant. Not a championship, but an NBA Cup. So let's get to that other side of this. San Antonio here, as we say hello to our Michael C. right here. Michael, this is one of Wemby's biggest game, if not the biggest game he has played in thus far in his career. And of course, in the last game, we saw him on a minutes restriction. We saw him come off of the bench. So what is the plan here in the Cup final?
Well, Malik, I would not expect a full workload for Victor Wembanyama. Expect him to play somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 minutes, something like that. Now, Spurs coach Mitch Johnson said that just because Victor came back in that semifinals win over OKC, that does not mean he's 100% back. You've got to remember, this guy is coming off a 12-game absence, and so they need to really ease him back into the mix. Now, Victor Wembanyama said yesterday that he will have some input into the direction that they ultimately go here. Now, that means there could be a chance that Victor comes off the bench again like he did in that semifinals game against OKC. In the first half of that game, I got a text from a source that told me that the Spurs were looking to strategically maximize Victor's minutes. So that could very well be the case here, but it's important to note again that Victor will have a say in this.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, particularly because on that minutes restriction, by him coming off of the bench and not playing in that first quarter, where was he available? He was available at the end of the game when it was a tight one, and they needed him to be able to close out the Oklahoma City Thunder. So that's going to be something that's interesting to watch. Michael C. Wright is on the case for us. We will come back to you if you have any updates on Victor's status here, because the Stars, they are going to be out in Vegas. But of course, the Stars are also out in our studio. Our own Shanae Agumake, our own Danny Green. I feel like a game show host. Well, let's start with Jalen Brunson here, Shanae, and what you're watching for from him.
Malika, there are some games that you never forget. Do you remember this? In March of 2024, Jalen Brunson scored a career-high 61 points against who? The Spurs. That's the second most points in Knicks history, behind only Melo's 62. Respect to the legend.
The real Melo.
I'm going to break down how he's able to play this fencing match. You're funny, Danny, because you play fencing trying to know when to strike. This is drop coverage. Great read by Brunson, who averages 29 points per game. The defender is late, Jeremy, and he strikes in the mid-range. Again, when there's a pick-and-roll situation, this time in transition, Wemby is off of the ball, which means he's going to attack. Wemby tends to go back thinking that it's a full attack to the rim. Instead, look at this nice drag dribble to create separation on his kill spot, which is the elbow. Expect Jalen Brunson to have more plays just like that.
Yeah, but that was year one, Victor Wembanyama. This is year three. It's a lot different. The clips that we're about to show you, as you can see, with him on the floor, they rank second, top 3 in the league. With him off the floor, 22nd. It's a big difference with him off the floor. But as these clips will show you, he's a lot different this year than he was in year one. As he's up on the screen, see this arm? Look at this hand. That's SGA. He wasn't doing that with Brunson. Now it's deterring SGA to get that pull-up, that mid-range. He has to kick it back to Dort, get back and box out. He's covering a lot of ground. Here is where the IQ comes into place. Look at this pre-switch. He's telling the guards to get up so he can get down. They're trying to bring him away from the paint with a big on the perimeter, like Isaiah Hartenstein, like Chet Holmgren. He says, no, we're going to switch the guards out and make sure I can get to the paint where I'm not in rotation and everybody can run around and he can still protect the rim. So it's going to be a very different Wembanyama than it was in year one.
You're right. And that's why Jalen Brunson is saying we've got to keep him out of the paint. It's not just because he can dunk on your head. It's because the attention that he can pull and on the defensive side of the ball as well. But what I learned from this segment is Shanae knows a little something about fencing. I didn't know you had that. All right, that game is tonight. But on Monday night, what a game we had
like
between
a playoff one. 2
of the top 3 games in the West. You're absolutely right, it did. Alperen Şengün, Nikola Jokic did something we have never seen before. So, Shanae, let's pick this up in the fourth quarter. This is baby Jokic on big Jokic crime.
I know, and I love it because it felt like a playoff atmosphere. What Alperen Şengün has done, use his spin moves, pivots, not force a double team. That's the fadeaway that we know Jokic is scoring.
And then next possession here, watch Jamal Murray dishing it over to Nikola Jokic. Get yourself a big man who can hit the 3. By the way, Jokic broke a tie with Wilt and Oscar Robertson for the most 35, 15, and 10 games in NBA history here, DG.
Yeah, shooting threes now, too. He's making himself very unstoppable on the opposite end of the floor.
But when it is winning time, who are you going to call? Oh, yeah, you're going to call Kevin Durant. You know his name.
This is where I was like, this is a separator from good to great. This is why the Rockets bet the whole house on him to be able to keep games close and close it.
Rockets down by 1 here. Şengün backs his way inside. Nice little touch there.
And I was like, okay, we feeling good.
The Rockets take a 1 point.
I thought it was
the game.
And then what happened was, this is 2 seconds left. Nuggets down 1. Murray looking to get into Tim Hardaway. Amen Thompson commits a foul here. Thompson, Ime, cannot believe it. So the Rockets, they would challenge it. Here's another look. So you be the judge here.
I think Timmy tripped over himself, honestly.
Well, the Nuggets would get 1 free throw and the ball. Game tied at 117 here. Jokic gets it in, cannot hit. And so, of course, we are granted 5 more minutes of basketball. That's what this game deserves. Let's play some basketball. Overtime transition here. Hitting a turnaround jumper here was Jamal Murray.
Was that you being Fergie for a moment?
Yeah, that was me being Fergie for a moment. Never forget. Sneaky here inside, gets the layup.
All-star.
And we also know that whoever strikes first in OT tends to win.
Yeah.
And they struck while the iron.
We had him a game last night.
Spencer Jones, quarter 3. Houston wouldn't go away, though.
They don't, and I like this. The tenacity they play with, the physicality. This is one of the teams that have to win these types of games to get the confidence, but at least they were in it.
By the way, speaking of growth, 33, 10, and 10 for Alperen Şengün. Şengün gets it on the inbound, takes the 3, can't quite get it to go, though. So the Nuggets escape with the 128-125 overtime win. Sign me up for another one of those, please.
Unintended.
Another one that surprised me, though, guys. Did you know this, that Jokic and Şengün They became the first centers to record a triple-double in the same game in NBA history.
Battle of the big.
Yes.
Taking it back to the old school.
Amen. Let's take a listen to Nikola Jokic after the huge win.
They're a really talented team, you know. They have a lot of weapons. They are really good in defense. They're big and tall. They attack the offensive glass. So, I mean, they're a really good team. And we tried to defend the home court because we lost, I think, 4 in a row. So it was a really good game for us.
Just in general, I think it's a poorly officiated game I've seen in a long time. Two have no business being out there, and the crew chief is acting starstruck. So you're seeing all kind of inconsistent calls, and I'm sure we should have got a few more texts.
All right, so Ime, understandably, a little hot there, a little upset, Shanae, but overall, what did you learn from this game?
Overall, I believe the Rockets could go toe-to-toe with the best of them. Now, if it's a series, it's going to be hard to get over that mountain, and the mountain being Nikola Jokic, clearly Nikola Jokic. But I also like the duo, because this is something that I just keep preaching. Jamal Murray having a career year, has never been an all-star. This is his 9th season. And those two in tandem, it's like a symphony. They're in symmetry. They are beautiful. They understand the game at the highest level. And when you can cheat code it and just have them on one side of the floor,
yeah,
it is impossible to stop. And look at that. Look at the bromance.
Would you say that this is ethical basketball?
Absolutely ethical. Now, was he officiating? Not so much.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned the same. I'm watching this group here, and they're doing this without 2 of their main starters. And to me, Aaron Gordon is an all-star this year. And to be able to win games 5 in a row without him, and then Christian Brown, another guy who's up and coming, really impressive kid that I think can add a lot to him. He knows how to win. He's won on every level. But I also learned on the Houston side of things, the 2-man game between KD and Sengun. But I would like to see more KD down the stretch. But again, you showed they go toe-to-toe. They did this 2-man game, which made them force a switch. KD set a screen here with the flare screen to get the switch to Jamal Murray. Sets a screen on Sengun, which you don't see often. The guard setting the screen on the big. Trying to get the switch here, he does. Sengun knows he got a matchup, a mismatch here with Spencer. Daring Jokic to double team, which he's not going to do because there's Kevin Durant on the perimeter. Now he's got a one-on-one mismatch against the young fella who gets a left-hand layup, which we thought would be for the game. Again, I would like to see more KD in that action, but when you have that type of 2-man game, it's a mismatch on both sides.
To me, I love how we celebrate the offense, but I think the difference in the game was the matchup Jokic and Sengun, but the difference was that Sengun was not able to guard Jokic in single coverage. For example, there would be times where Jokic would get it down the middle lane of the floor, and he would shoot a 3, and Sengun could not contest. And so the other alternative is to run 2, and who's the best passer in the NBA? Jokic. So that is the conundrum. I do think that they have to find ways for Sengun to slow Jokic down. But I think he did his best trying to get it on the other end.
But second-round matchup in the playoffs, I know it's only December, but if you said that we're getting to sign up for that, by the way, Ime, going to get fined?
Yeah, I think you should have. If you're going to get fined, make it worth it.
If you're going to get
go all
fined,
the way in.
And he went all the way there. All right, how about after the break? Hey, how did the Clippers get so bad, things with Chris Paul, that they had to send him home in the middle of the night? Ramona Shelburne is here with previously unreported details about what transpired. Plus, we're going to show you how vroom vroom, you know what that's a sign of, motorcade and the Pistons completed yet another incredible comeback. Shanae, she's going to tell us why it's time to start believing in this Detroit squad. And for the first time, Victor Wembanyama, he really goes there, friends. He's talking about his blood clot diagnosis in new details and how that time away is fueling him this season. That conversation on the way after this.
I'm Victor Wembanyama, and you're watching NBA Today.
To finish this one, spoiling Flag's 42-point game, but his Flag on his career night.
I think it's just, my teammates putting me in the right positions, letting me get myself out there, give me that confidence. And, I just saw, a lot of gaps out there tonight and wanted to take advantage of the stuff, though. I mean, I want to look at it, wins and losses. Obviously, we didn't win, so it's tough for me to, want to be happy or any of that. But obviously, it's, it's success, and, we're going to try and keep getting better from here.
You confused me, Danny.
How many days are there in a year?
365.
Good job. All right, Flag became the first 18-year-old, to your point, Danny, to score 40 in an NBA game.
Short,
LeBron James had been the youngest player to score 40 previously. He did it at 19 years and 88 days against Richard Jefferson. And his Nets.
Take it, Richard.
You guys caught us as we were coming out of that sound debating over how many
days are in a year.
All right, let's run through some notable teenagers to also put up 40, shall we here? Because, of course, we start with LeBron James. 43 times this is a teenager, and as mentioned, one was against our friend Richard. Any chance to mention that? And then babyface Braun, he shot 15 of 29 from the field en route to a Cavaliers comeback in the win. Richard had 35, though, in the loss.
Justice for Richard.
How about Carmelo Anthony?
Hello.
2004, this one was against the Sonics. 19 of 29 for 41 points. Only one free throw attempted, by the way.
Oh.
Ethical basketball. Kevin Durant as a Supersonic in 2008 against his future team, the Golden State Warriors. Easy money, 42 points, 13 and 6 here in a Seattle win. All right, how about just a couple of years ago in 2021, Anthony Edwards in Phoenix. This was his first time. He had an additional 40-point night a month later, all before turning 20 years old. So Cooper's 40 piece, it was one of 5 games on the slate last night. How about we go coast to coast on some of the other action here? Why don't we start with Jurassic Park. Starting with the Raptors, snapped a 4-game losing streak. Brandon Ingram, 28 in this one against the Heat, but the Heat, their loss extends to 5, their streak there. So, Danny, what's going on with Miami?
I mean, I love what Toronto's doing, but on Miami side, they're playing free, which could be a good and bad thing. And lately, we've seen a lot of bad. Too many ill-advised shots, not enough defense on the perimeter, but guys are just taking bad contested shots, and we need to see better, more efficient shots. Obviously, they have injuries, too. So.
How about the Grizzlies? Handed the Clippers their 20th loss in 26 games. Oof. All right, led by 31 points, Jaren Jackson, 27 from Cam Spencer, friend of the show, off the bench. Not all good news for Memphis, though. John Morant left late in the third with an ankle injury. Chene, how concerning is that?
It's tough because this is a team that has not had the consistency to be successful. They're currently under 500. They're 9th in the West. I do want to credit Jaren Jackson Jr. Shot 70% from the field, but still, you need that continuity for them to make a push upward.
And you need John Morant being the jaw that we have
That would help.
Right? All right, how about the motorcade? Hit the road to take on the Boston Celtics here. We're going to pick this one up early in the fourth quarter. The Pistons up by 6. Cunningham drives, knocks down that midi.
Smooth.
Oh, midi.
By the way, y'all should have seen Danny's face when he said smooth.
I know. He looked disgusted.
Stank face.
Okay, Cuzzo.
Hello.
That's a green boy right there.
Yeah, one of the Green brothers still getting up
We're not
like
related,
that.
though. We're not related.
Don't get it all over Derek
I could
White.
never do that. I could never.
Big 3 nominee. Maybe we're going to see this again later in the show. And then minutes later, the Celtics down by 9 here. Derek White kicks it over to Jaylen
He's been
Brown.
cooking, y'all.
Create space, let him
He's
cook.
been
Should be in the MVP conversation.
Well,
I mean,
34 points so far for him.
I love my guy
Derek White.
Nobody expected him to be top 3 in the East.
That's true.
31 for Derek White.
But also, speaking of MVP conversation.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Killer Cade.
Cade, on the other hand, ISO crosses, spins, Chene.
Did you know he's number 2 in clutch time points in the NBA behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP? Put some respect on that name. Boom, boom.
What a move from Cunningham. Ices the game with that one. Rev your engines. He had 32 points, 10 of 6, 6 of 10 from three-point range. Now, the Pistons, they trailed by 12, and they came back to win. They improved to 8-3 when trailing by double digits this season. That's the most in the NBA, and that's the kind of grit you're going to need to win some playoff series. All right, hey, coming up here on NBA Today, we're going to revisit the Clippers here. Ramona Shelburne has some shocking new details on how Chris Paul's relationship with the Clippers fell apart. Hear those after the break. And it wouldn't be a Vegas event without putting a little action on it, so we're going to tell you what the best bets are for tonight's NBA Cup for entertainment purposes. That's called Impact. It's been a special year overall, though, so far for Victor Wembanyama. He's on pace to be the first player since Shaq during his 2000 MVP season to average 25 points, 12 boards, and 3 blocks, and just the 6th since blocks became official. And y'all remember last Christmas what Wemby gave us? He stormed into the Garden, his first career Christmas game, 42 points, 18 rebounds and 4 blocks against the Knicks. He's gone for 40 in his last 2 games against New York. Victor and I caught up for an extensive 30-minute interview. Here's part 1.
Over the top, Wemby, oh my goodness! Blocked by Wembanyama. Victor for 3. Grabs it himself and flushes it. Highlight reel for Wembanyama.
Vic, Joyeux Noël.
Joyeux Noël?
Merry Christmas. I've been working on it. Joyeux Noël. What were the Christmas traditions in the Wembanyama household when you were growing up?
This is the first year in my life where my whole family is not going to be together for Christmas, unfortunately. So that was the first thing always, all of us, at least the 5 of us, my siblings and my parents, grandparents on either side, and cousins. So it was never so much about the presents or the traditions even, but just getting together and enjoying.
Here comes Wemby for 3. Good, straight away. He's north of 40 on his Xmas debut.
You're playing the team on Christmas Day that is at the top of the league, the reigning champs in the Oklahoma City Thunder. Do you view that as a game that you can learn about yourself and your team?
Of course. learn about ourselves. But as you said, they're top of the league, so learn about what it takes to be in their spot, because it's a spot we want to be at this season already, but in the next years.
You've had a heck of a summer. The last 9 to 10 months, you've been playing absolutely incredible basketball. And then all of a sudden, you're diagnosed with a blood clot. What was that moment like for you?
That moment, like, I remember clearly, I mean, it's going to be 1 year soon since I learned, so it was 5 minutes of total breakdown, probably, you know. Obviously crying and sadness and feeling the fragility of life and health.
But you don't just think about playing, you think about how that's going to impact your entire life. When you understand the blood clot and the proximity, how did you understand that as impacting your life in that moment?
So I was thinking about this as, like, as you said, I wasn't thinking about basketball. Basketball wasn't my priority all of a sudden. And at a time like this where you have to take measures quickly, you unfortunately have to make choices. There's this worry of maybe not doing the right thing, you know?
Were you ever worried that you would not be able to play again in those 5 minutes?
Yes, but it wasn't justified. I needed time to find myself again and then to get better. And it was just the whole motor all summer, and I think it's going to be for the rest of my career. It's the best example that life is short, career is short. It can end just like this. So there's no time to waste.
Yeah. Have you learned things watching the team while you've been sidelined?
Oh, yeah. I've noticed patterns and habits of my team that I didn't notice before. And one of my favorite things I see is everybody's able to step up their game. The energy was different. Everybody could feel it. And it's so much easier to envision the goals as well when it's actually starting to happen, you know?
I feel like you're getting excited. I might be wrong, but like, it feels like when you're talking about this, more so than the past years, because you hate losing.
I am excited, as you can see. I am excited, and nothing makes me happier than winning. So, and on the opposite, few things make me sadder than losing.
When you think about success, Vic, in the next 5 to 10 years, what does a successful Victor Wembanyama career look like?
Oh, 5 to 10 years, that's got to be filled with championships. We want to solidify ourselves as a top 3, top 4 team in the West, you know. I have no playoff experience, but I'm a competitor, and I know I step up in big games.
Victor Wembanyama nearly outscores the Bulls by himself in the fourth quarter.
Who is the best player in the NBA right now?
I think Jokic is the best offensive player. I don't think he's the best player. It's hard to say. I think it was between Giannis and Shea. When I would come back on the court, I think it'll be me.
So he said, I think Nikola Jokic is the best offensive player, but he's not the best player. I think before, when I wasn't playing, it was Giannis and Shea. And I said, well, what happens when you come back? And he said, before, when I was back, it was Giannis and Shea. But when I come back now, it's going to be me. And then he has that NBA semifinal game, Danny Green. And all of a sudden, I'm looking around and saying, I kind of believe him.
I believe him. I mean, he means it. He's not shying away from it. He's not scared of it. He wants to be the face of the league. He's embracing it. He cares about the game. He loves to win. He studies it. He watches. He's a Spur. I mean, that's the definition of it. You know, thinking of David Robinson, thinking of Tim Duncan, this guy falls right in that category of being one of those greats and could be, when all said and done, the greatest big of all time if he continues on this route. So, yeah, I'm very impressed by him, not just how he carries himself on the court, but off the court as well.
What's funny is, Malika, you ask a number of NBA stars this question, and many times the young players, it feels more like manifestation. They're manifesting themselves being the best on the floor. I feel like he's doing that and then some because he backs it up on the floor. And I do think he's making a distinction that he believes the best player must play defense.
Yeah.
Because Giannis and Shea, defensively, he sort of alluded to that.
Jokic.
Jokic, I also like to acknowledge that he's up there with rebounds, and that's a way to really control the game defensively. But yeah, I'm like, soon it's going to be undeniable. It'll take a little bit of time, but like we see it happening in real time.
So we taped this interview a little while ago, and we just aired it recently. But I ran into Victor ahead of this interview running, and I said, hey, you know, good to see you. This interview is going to run soon. And the best player in the world bit. We're going to see that. This was the day before the NBA Cup semis. I said, the best player in the world. We're going to see that bit tonight. And he kind of cocked his head, you know, translation, maybe getting lost. He goes, tonight? No. But tomorrow? Yeah. And that was his way, you know. So it's like, this is the player that we're seeing on the floor now. Now, the Knicks have the task of stopping that player, right? So the New York Knicks, they spoke at media availability ahead of the NBA Cup. Here's what Jalen Brunson had to say about facing Victor.
You got to find ways to pull him away from the basket, and you got to obviously be smart. And you can't just go in there and think no one's going to come and affect the shot. And so he's great at what he does, and we just got to be smart as a team and playing off 2 feet and reading where he is and just trying to get the best shot as possible.
We all need the beanie, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
You're the roommate now.
There's no other human on earth that can do that, though.
Yeah, that bet my mind. I was like, is this AI?
This is crazy. Just very casually walking over the barrier while wearing slides, by the way.
Like it was a cone.
That's not even a hurdle.
I think I would have to get a running start, and I wouldn't even be able to do that. That's insane. Yeah. And what Victor does night in and night out on the floor is just must-see TV. Now, today's thread post, it's from BMO the Prince. He said, quote, if the Spurs win tonight, Wemby can probably just pin the NBA Cup banner to the rafters by himself, no? I mean, maybe we could see that. By the way, threads, it's live right now for the NBA Cup.
It's popping.
Fans, don't forget to keep the conversation going on threads. You can scan the QR code, jump in on the conversation. Sinead, though, what do you think is going to decide the Cup tonight? Because you laid out your recipe, and you were exactly right going into the semis.
Honestly, it's going to be the minutes of Victor Wembanyama.
Okay.
Like, that's what's going to decide. If he looks to the coaches and say, play me.
So what would you do? I mean, so he came off the bench. Everyone remembers this. He came off the bench. He didn't play the entirety of the first quarter, and then he was available for those 10, 11, 12 minutes to be able to backload those minutes. Would you do the same thing?
I would do the same thing.
All right.
You've got to protect the athlete from themselves, especially coming back, but I would do the same thing. And I think his teammates love that he's going to be that X factor coming off the bench. Like, we got to keep it close. And then you saw the flurry approaching half where they closed the gap, and they knew they could close with Victor on the floor. But if I'm thinking, you know, if I'm the Knicks, I think they're absolutely right. The big reason why the Knicks have been successful is because Josh Hart, we said it during the break, has been shooting the ball well. Yeah. And they've upped the tempo. The Knicks are the 5th slowest team in the NBA. Brunson has the ball a lot, but as long as they find spurts to pick their moments, they're great, especially in transition. They get to the rim or they knock down timely threes.
And I'm glad you brought up Josh Hart because he is one of my X factors for the Knicks. For
9-1 with him starting.
Also contain and kind of keep Wemby under wraps, but also score on offense. Josh Hart has to be Josh Hart, and Mitchell Robinson. It's got to be a huge night for them rebounding-wise and defensive-wise. The only way to keep Wemby away from that glass and affecting the game and protecting the rim, Mitch Robinson has to kind of be a little physical with him, push him off his spot. Josh Hart has to get in transition, also be the backside help with rebounding. So for the Knicks to stay in this game, they have to get some second opportunities and rebound well because I don't think they shoot it as well from the perimeter.
But if there's one player to probably control the game, it's Brunson because he has...
Big body Brunson. There it is.
Oh, my gosh, I love it. That's Will Carter. We love Carter. What about big body Brunson? That's the truth. If there's one player, we know how bad, you know, Victor wants to win. Brunson is competitive. Yeah. He's like a pump fake. On the press, he'll just sit there, be calm. But he's really calculated, and he takes these moments in a huge way. This is a team that has great expectations. Winning the Cup will be like, yeah, we're the ones to fear coming out of the East.
Everybody's looking at Brunson and Wemby. I'm looking at De'Aaron Fox. I think that matchup, people are forgetting about De'Aaron Fox. Like, he's a very good player. He's also missed a clutch in the past. So that matchup between him and Brunson together, and then Castle, who's also coming out, can be most improved player candidate. Those two guards are going to give Brunson quite a lot for his table.
And I learned my new favorite nickname in the NBA, the Pineapple Express for the hairstyle.
Yeah, oh my God.
Castle, it's so good. Hey, coming up here, though, on NBA Today, the meetings, the call.